everybody, it's Pissed Rhino. Today I would like to talk about a new mail call that I got. We're going to go through some pretty incredible parts. So I'm going to bring one of these over just to help us understand where these parts go. So let's get started. Sorry about the camera bouncing. So first up, we have these bushings. Now this would be the first thing to go on the axle drive line. So we got those to replace the stock ones. I think I might have to look. These might be a little big, but we'll check it out. I think they might actually go on these. Now this just looks like a crumpled up mess, but let's open these up so everybody can see what we got here. These are something not a lot of people use, but they are using them. There's the right ones, but we also have brass ones too, just in case we need them. So let's pull these bad boys out. So since my truck is centered driveline, I have to have centered portals, which means my drive shafts are the same length. And then this is where these go, right in there. I had a big issue getting these out on the stock ones, but now that I got these brand new ones, it doesn't really matter. That's why I ordered the brass ones, but I see now that I didn't need them and didn't have to order them. But it's always good to have extras of stuff. As you guys know, I end up with tons of extra stuff. So here you can see we've got a left and a right portal. This one has a longer screw, so that's where the steering, the servo connection actually connects. I did order these. For some reason, when I bought these axles, the person that had originally bought them, because these are used, I should have, based on how much money I've put into this, I should have just bought new, but that's hindsight, and there's not much I can say about it. But for them, as you know, I cleaned them and polished them, or my son polished them. He did a good job, great job. And then I've bought all new components. So to build this axle, you gotta have bearings. So that's the next part of the mail call. Is I got all the bearings needed for the axles, diff, everything. So let me move these up so you can see. These are the steering connections. So whoever bought these before me didn't upgrade these. So they just had the housing and the standard non-portal ends and drive shafts, or axles I should say. The axles were pretty much seized on one of them. The other one wasn't too bad, but like I said, it didn't have these, so I had to get these so that it's all Vitavon. And let's just see for giggles. So this slides into there. You can see it'll go into the diff. This goes into here. And so now you got both axles and the diff. You put one of these bad boys on here, and it's all lined for steering. And then we have a servo horn and a link coming to here that I've got ordered. And that'll finish it out. So I put in the bearings, I put in the differentials, I bolt everything together, and obviously I have to do that 2 times. So here's the other end. So front and rear steering. Big O servos, huge servos, NSDRC. So far in this truck, I've got Vitavon, which is basically most of the CNC'd aluminum. I have Linkage, that is the CNC'd aluminum shock mounts and frame supports. Then I have NSDRC in the servos. I have Three Brothers in the black jacket motor. I have Proline tires with Proline 2-stage foam. The wheels will be Vitavon, so that's still all Vitavon. I have the Castle Creations Mamba Monster X coming. It's not here yet. So that should be all the companies involved, other than the little stuff. I mean, I've got some like the clipless body mounts, and I've got a body lift for the rear coming. Those are all 3D printed parts. And of course my front grille, this says Rhino. I got that too. But other than that, that's all the suppliers I'm using. So Vitavon, Three Brothers, Castle Creations, Linkage, Proline, and NSDRC. And I'm building the entire truck with those suppliers. I take that back. I do have some plastic pieces from Axial that I'm going to use because I see no way around it, and I still want to have that inner fender well in the front, so I don't get all my electronics totally dirty. But other than that, everything is in those 5 suppliers. So this will be my portal axle, front or rear, I don't know. But I'll have 2 of these so I can have 4-wheel steering, and they're gonna look freaking awesome. Brand new bearings. So this will have brand new everything. The only used parts on it are these housings, 2 housings, and 2 servo mounts. Everything else is brand new. Everything. I've replaced everything inside of that housing. So it should be pretty killer. Alright, so that's part of the milk haul. Pretty awesome stuff. Very well made. It's going to perform amazingly. Now, I don't know if I want to use the aluminum or brass of these. I guess the aluminum ones are, maybe those are stainless. They're the newer versions, so maybe I just go with those. And they're not really, all they are is to put a sleeve around the screw. I mean, even the little trucks have that. But all the bearings, 2 of each one of these goes in every axle housing. And then I got another full set of these. And lastly, look at them shocks. These are monstrous shocks. I mean, going from mini scale to 1/6 or 1/5 scale is pretty big change. They do have these in different colors. These are actually pretty light. I'm amazed. Again, fully made, CNC'd aluminum. It's got good pressure. They are oil filled, obviously. A lot bigger round and a lot taller than the stock ones. These are 150 millimeter. So 150 millimeter shocks. This might be a little stiffer. I might have to adjust that. It's a coilover design. Huge aluminum mounts. Man, that spring pretty much locks onto that spring retainer. Yeah, so this needs adjusted. Let's see if there's actually oil in these or if it's just air pressure. Man, a lot of threads on there. So yes, it is full of oil. But the problem we're having, yeah, so I think it was just air. So if I get all the air bubbles out of here. It's nice that it's got a 7 millimeter nut on there, so that'll be easy to work with. Alright, so let's put this back on. Let's see if we fixed it or if I'm going to have to do some more work to it. Sorry, I was just going to do a mail call, but I figured you guys might want to watch this while I investigate this. If it doesn't interest you, you can obviously just stop the video and go back playing video games. Alright. Yeah, it's still not liking that. Taking out the little bleeder screw. So I'm getting a lot of air out of it this way. You can see the air bubbles. This little screw's got an O-ring on it. Be careful to make sure that's set flat so you don't hurt it. There we go. Okay, that's better. Finally back to where it should be. Alright, so we fixed that problem. I'll probably bleed the rest of these just to make sure. And that's why you check everything you buy, because I mean, every shock that I've purchased, and I've purchased literally hundreds of shocks. Yeah, look at that. So now it's just like the others. This one's a little softer. I might need to bleed the others. These two are soft. And then these two are a little harder, so bleeding might still be needed. A little more. I don't know. I don't know. They look pretty good to me. Although I did put the spring on backwards. So, not thinking, it is a dual stage spring, and I didn't consider that at all when I put it back on. So, what I gotta do, flip it over. Oh yeah, it's a lot tighter down there. Ah. There we go. Jeez. Yeah, so that's nice. So now all the springs are on correctly. They all work the same. And they look gorgeous. So, definitely an A+ buy. Now, I've had people... Everybody has their opinion on what parts to get, what's good, what's bad. But some people beat up Vitavon just due to price. Now, I will say their prices are outrageous, but their quality looks to be top notch. Now, one of the shocks needed bled. Big deal. I mean, like I said, every shock set I've purchased has had that sort of issue. By the way, it comes with its own shock standoffs, which I know small scale, everybody's been asking me where to get standoffs, and so these fancy ones come with them. So now the question is, how do we mount the things? Are we going to mount them? I've seen guys mounting them upside down. What do you think? Upside down mount, or mount them properly? I mean, I don't know how it matters, but it might be the best way. I mean, one good thing is if it starts to leak, it's not going to run down the shock. It's just going to run down onto the mat or onto the ground. I don't know. I don't know all the positives that people think they're getting from that, but I'll look into it a little more before I actually do the install, which I've got all the parts to finish the axle housings and steering setup, so I'm going to get all that done. I will mount them to the motor. I'll mount them to the links. And then we're just waiting on the frame, which is supposed to be here tomorrow. Then, piece by piece, we're going to do the install. So, it's going to get very interesting very soon. Now, I am still waiting for the Mamba Monster X. Oh, and my wheels and a couple other pieces from Vitavon. It's funny, I bought my first Vitavon stuff I purchased off eBay. And those are the parts that I'm still waiting for. Everything else I bought from their website, and I had it in 4 days. And that is coming from China, because this is all made in China, but made very well, so let's not bash them because they're China based, because so is Trill, so is everybody. I mean, anything to do with these is basically China based, except for NSDRC. I don't know where Proline's made anymore. NSDRC and Little Guy Racing Products, and they make tires and stuff for the smaller scales. Maz Designs, which also makes stuff for the smaller scales. I try to use as much American-based stuff that I can, but sometimes you're just stuck, and the best stuff comes from somewhere else. And, you know, China guys are doing it right. China guys are RC heavy, man. Everything. Malaysia. Malaysia RC scene is ridiculous. I mean, if you get into RC drifting, you will talk to somebody from Malaysia, because they're heavy into it and they do it right. What else? I guess for the mail call, that's it. That's a lot of stuff. The next video you see, I'll have the axle housings and diffs all done up and pretty, and hopefully connected to the Spider. And by Spider, I mean my 8-legged friend. Don't be afraid of the spiders. Anyway, I'll get the axle housings mounted to that, and then all we got to do to build it is to mount that plate to the frame, mount the shocks to the frame, and the shock towers and all the braces and stuff, and it'll be ready to go. I mean, it should be quick. If the diffs are done, it'll be quick when I get the other parts in. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So without further ado, I am going to get to work building some diffs. I am going crawling on Saturday with my son. I'm going to take out one of the TRX4Ms. I'll probably stick with green. Might do red. I'm not for sure, but I'm going to take one of them out. We're going to crawl back at Mascatatuck State Park where the rock walls are at. So we'll go in there and do some crawling. Maybe get some videos. I don't know. I'm going to have fun, but if we can get some videos at the same time, I'll do it. Because I know you guys like seeing that. So I will let you all go. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather. Go out and have some fun. Take the family crawling. You deserve it. Thanks again for watching, and I appreciate all of you. Goodbye.